Kenny here with Gardening Simplified. It's August 3rd and let's do a garden tour. We're going to start out in the greenhouse. Today it's 93 outside. It's already 102 inside. Let's see if we can see that. Yeah, it's 102. And anyway, we'll zoom back out, keep from getting you dizzy. But in the greenhouse for August, we have watermelons growing. Now, that might be figuring a bad use of space, but if you like watermelons, then you got to grow them. And you can't grow them unless you plant them. And if you plant them somewhere where it's hot, then they're not going to grow. I mean, they like the heat, but not that much heat. We've been setting up around 104, 105 the past few days, and we've been either bumping 100 or just a little over 100 for the past 3 weeks. And it's no sign of letting up. We had to move the banana trees in the greenhouse to plant them. We were going to put together a frame for another greenhouse that we've got and do all our citrus and the bananas in that, so we could do shade cloth, but we had to move them in. The sun is it's been reaping havoc on this poor banana tree. I was watering them twice a day, and it still was having a hard time. So they didn't like that little 2-gallon pot they was in, and they wanted out, so they're out. But anyway, in the greenhouse here, we've got a few cucumbers, and they're working at it. We've been trying to keep them moist enough. They should put on some cucumbers, but they've been having a hard time. They got these squash bugs and stink bugs, leaffoot bugs. They're all trying to come in here. We are seeing a few ladybugs, and hopefully they'll keep some of it in check, but it's just so hard. It just happened we had to pull out the cucumbers that were here on the end, because even with the amount of water they get from this overhead water system, they were drying out and the aphids were taking over them. So, you know, that means they got to go. But anyway, we've got some holy basil back here we were going to do something with, but don't look like we ever did anything with it. So pretty soon we'll be just cutting it out, I guess. But holy basil is medicinal basil. Now over here we've got our sweet basil, and I keep saying that I'm going to make some pesto. I've never made it. Maybe if one of you've got a good recipe for pesto, you might send it to me and entice me to do a little bit more. It's looking a little rough because my wife gets in here in the morning and she's hunting grasshoppers. The chickens just love them, and she got to find that treat for them. And the bees like it, so that's good. Down here we've got mustard right here, and then we've got some turnips right here. And then up here in the corner we've got our carrots, our Kyotos, and we did these for seed. And with the heat of our summer, they're starting to kick up into seeds. They don't have to go 2 years here in the south to make seeds when they're planted early in the spring. Our Echinacea is pretty much toast. I need to come in here and pull some seed tops, get some more seeds. I think I might do a little field of flowers next year, and that'll be one. They're just so pretty. Our new rosemary's looking pretty good. Maybe this one will hold in there. I just did a little fertilizing and watering this morning. And of course the asparagus, it's starting, some of it's starting to turn brown. The heat, it's just rough on it. Our eggplant are looking good. The little greenhouse, I'm fixing to plant it with some Michihili cabbage. It is hot. It's been whenever I opened my app yesterday, see how hot it was. It was 121. It got up to 123. It gets a little warmer because I took the shade cloth off of it, but I might have to put it on temporarily for the Mitchell-Healy cabbage. But the eggplant is still doing good. We finished up this bed here. We just got to take and extend our walkway. We never did get that done. Plenty of eggplants, plenty of nice big grasshoppers. If she'd seen that one, she'd be chasing him down. The Notapinos, they're kind of suffering from the heat. I spray them on the end a little bit, but you can't really tell the difference from the others. Down here, this is our new electroculture bed. Part of it is, anyway. And we'll talk about it later, what we've done to it. But we have honeydews right here. We have Rocky Ford green cantaloupe, or you might as well say that's another honeydew variety. And then we have 3 rows of Jubilee watermelons, and they're starting to pop up. Some of these honeydews are starting to come up. We'll see how well they grow. This row here doesn't have electroculture in it, and these were planted about 3 or 4 days behind all these other ones, so they'll be germinating behind, I'm guessing, but we'll see how that works. Down here at the bottom of the garden, our pineapples are looking better. They're looking like they're finally getting adjusted to the ground. I'm sure we're not going to see a pineapple this year, but hopefully we can keep them warm enough over winter that they won't die. In this bed here, we've got rutabagas. They look like they kind of sparsely coming up. I don't know. We might want to throw a few more seeds. We'll see. Our peppers are doing good. We'll be picking tomorrow, but look like we've got a bunch of ghost peppers in there. And certainly over here we have a lot of shishitos. They're just loaded up. And then we got some cayennes and some paprikas. And a lot of these paprikas are getting sunburned. It's kind of rough with the heat like it is. And this row here with our hatch green chilies. Now, our hatch green chilies are considerably smaller because of the heat, and they've been turning red quicker. But I ate one the other day that was about this size, not too big, and that sucker had some fire in it. So the heat's bringing on the heat. And we've done some drip here. We've been running our water system day and night, just running about almost everything that 15 gallon a minute well will put out. This here is I think poinsettia cucumber. It's a new variety that I haven't grown before. I'm going to see how it does. We've got okra, a late crop coming up. We've got 4 rows of it. We've got I think and I can't remember which row was which, but we've got Emerald, Clemson, Burgundy, and Cowhorn. So they ought to come on. Now, our bell peppers, they're having a rough time too. I have to do some overhead watering on them, but like you can see, the sunburn is really getting to them. But once it starts cooling down here in a month and a half, hopefully they'll do better. The banana peppers are producing. This one here looks like it's biting the dust. There's probably going to be a lot of them that's not going to make it. Over here, we've got 2 rows, and they're coming up kind of sparse. These are honeydews, and then we have Israel cantaloupes. We didn't have any kind of season for our spring crops. They couldn't keep enough water in the area. Doesn't have enough organic matter in it, and so decided to do a new batch here in this garden, and you can tell the difference on what it makes. These were both watered this morning overhead, just about daylight or just before the sun started coming up, but it's just getting where you can see. I watered all these rows with the young plants. Now this drip system's been running since then, probably about 6 o'clock, and it's, I'm guessing, about 9 something now. It is it's really needing the water, But anyway, and these peppers are not doing good now. A lot of them I'm letting kind of die out, but I have been over top watering these poblanos, and they're still suffering. They might not make it to the fall. We don't have much over here. We have a few green onions right there at the end. This is all our deal did. It got too hot, and that's all it did. So we're going to have to try to start a new batch here in a little bit. It grows slow, so it might start inside so it can get up a little bit of size before going out. Now we have 3 rows of cantaloupes here. These are Hell's Best, and if you hadn't grown Hell's Best, they're a really tasty cantaloupe. They were popular commercial cantaloupe, I think up through maybe in the 30s or something like that, but they don't ship real well. But if you grow them and you know how to let a cantaloupe ripen on the vine until the vine turns loose, or you just touch it and it pops off, that's going to be the sweetest cantaloupe you ever tasted. And they far more flavor on homegrown. Now our squash here, this down here was looking a little better, and I overhead watered it. I don't remember if it was one evening or one morning. I just did part of it to see how it would do, and then I think it was in the evening. The next day it looked like this. It just fell out, so it's going to have to come up. Squash bugs are bad in here. We've been trying to keep them contained, but that's not working. Over here are habaneros. They always like the heat. They're doing good. Now I do have some more poblanos down there. I haven't watered them overhead, none at all, and they're just about dead. The drip can't give them enough water. Not even run it 6 hours a day like I do. Our herbs, some's hanging in, some aren't. Our rhubarb, you can see what we got here. The winds tore up most of it, and then the sun just cooked it. Been having to put a lot of water to it to keep it at that stage, and the same thing with the ginger at the end down there. It's been rough. Now we do have some peppers going. They was getting really rough. They're getting better. I've been overhead watering them morning and evening. These cucumbers here, now I talked about this in a video before, and I said, well, all of them come up but this one. Well, this one didn't get a seed. I dug right there to see, and it didn't have a seed, and I wasn't going to start one, so it'll just be a bare spot. But they're doing pretty good. It looks like the Space Masters are doing the best over there, and then the Divas aren't far behind. And then the slowest one is the Slice More, but it'll be there. This is a test to see how they do on the ground instead of trellising them. Everything's a test, seems like. Now we planted beans in here Sunday, and it's Thursday, so they still haven't come up. With the heat, I would think I'm seeing some green in there, right about in there. It looks like they'll be up tomorrow. Over here we got our next batch of squash. This time we planted it in the garden. We decided we wasn't going to start the seeds inside. It seems like maybe, and they were planted Sunday too, so it seemed like they may be a little bit slow germinating. We'll see. And this is our late tomato crop. We've lost about 3, I think, out of this row. Down here we almost lost these. I've been overhead watering them every day when I water my cucumbers, keep them alive. And today we planted this row here. This is another cucumber, and I can't remember what name of it was, but it's another one that I'm trying to see how well it does. It's a slicer, and it would definitely need to have a trellis to climb on. The other cucumbers we pulled out a few days ago, there was eat up with stink bugs, squash bugs, stuff like that. When they start to die, and that's what happens. And so we give it a few days for them to leave out before we plant seeds for the next. And for those of you that worry about crop rotation, well, I guess you just better worry about it. I do rotate a bunch, but a lot of times I will come in behind with another one. I don't worry about pests because there's a lot of things that cause pest conditions that we don't pay attention to. One of them is plant stress and water, and in the south and the heat, a lot of times there's nothing we can do about it. But that don't mean I'm going to whine and not plant another crop, because to me it's very important to keep something there, keep it watered, keep your soil life going. And I can't really put a cover crop in here unless it's something I'm going to eat. I do put compost on the bed, which gives it insulation and gives it a little more moisture. But that's about where we're sitting in this garden. We're going to go take a look at garden number 2 with the sweet potatoes. With my new cucumber row I put in, I'm trying. I got a bag of fertilizer. Of course, it might be a Texas size bag, because you know everything in Texas is bigger. But I went to another company that it bags chicken litter. It's organic, certified organic fertilizer, and I can buy it in 40-pound bags like the other, which are about $7 less than what I give for the type that I'm using. But for what I give for 10 bags, I can buy 2 tons. 1 ton or 2,000 pounds of fertilizer. So I decided to go that way. Being I got a tractor, it's easy enough to load it up. But like I say, I'm trying it. I've got the Medina 323 that I've been buying in the bags, and this here is I think it's Viatrac. It's who makes it or processes it in pellets. And this is a 333, so it's a little bit stronger on the phosphorus. And we'll see how it does compared to the other, because I got a side-by-side comparison going now, and I did actually use the Medina on the end of the row that was close to the little greenhouse. That way it gets evening shade earlier, so if the plants might tend to do better that way. And so I figured I'd use the Medina down there to give it a better chance of making a good show, and using this 333 further towards the east side of the road. And here we go at the old garden spot. This side here we had our zipper creams, and at the end we had the German butterballs potatoes, and we harvested them. They were all small. The plants were dying from the heat. We still have some carrots in here. I'm going to put the middle buster in and pull them up, or plow those and see. I was going to come out here and dig a sweet potato plant, see how they were doing. Now, these are really having a tough time with the grass, but a lot of these plants are already burning up from the heat. So it's going to be about time to start digging these potatoes. We've been putting water to it, but it's really, I don't know if it's feeding the grass more or what, but anyway, it's not quite time to really harvest. But we figured we wouldn't do as bad as we had in the past, and we hadn't done quite as bad. But we need to spend a little more time in here weeding some of this grass before the vines got to taking over. But anyway, that's where we're sitting in the heat. We'll be ready for another 105-degree day today, and I think I'm going to find my recliner and do some relaxing in it, maybe edit a video. But I hope you enjoyed this, and thanks for watching. And of course, give it a big thumbs up and share this video. Enjoy that gardening experience, whether it's hot or not.